This is what Christmas looks like in Ukraine right now. Candlelight by a tree with an acoustic guitar, maybe. And how representative is it that it reflected another night in 1818 near Salzburg, Austria, where the backstory is lit by a man named Joseph Moore. He was born of a woman that never knew his father. He was adopted by a godfather that eventually helped him into the Catholic Church because he had a beautiful and lovely singing voice. His mother struggled all those years to make sure that he had what he needed. He developed first as someone with his voice and his vocal talent. When he entered the monastery at 16, he studied. He studied the ways of the world through the Bible. And he was highly empathetic. He became an assistant to the Monsignor near Obendorf. This was a poor church. And being a new young priest, he had very little clout and so much to prove. And he lived for the music of Christmas. He looked forward to it more than anything. A couple of months before Christmas of 1888, there was a woman who was in trouble. She was having a baby out of wedlock. Being the good priest that he was, he brought her comfort. He brought her joy. It made him contemplative. This woman in front of him, having a child that brought fear to her, worry to her. She often asked about her worthiness to God to be a mother. She had done the most shameful thing and was part of the most outcast idea, to have a child out of wedlock. This priest, Joseph Moore, saw himself. He went home that night and began to write beautiful poetry. He reflected on what Mary must have gone through. He went through the understanding of what his own mother went through, and how beautiful it was that he was there to help this woman, to give her the perspective of what her child needed from her. because that was him. And he also drew that it was also Jesus. On the other side of Austria, there's a very talented musician who studied under Mozart. His name was Franz Gruber. Tongue-in-cheek moment. Franz Gruber was a very talented musician. He had a growing family, and he was a musical instructor. He became good friends with Joseph Mohr. So just a few days before Christmas in 1888, to young Joseph Mohr's dismay, he found that the organ had been infested and eaten away by mice, and it was completely irreparable. Joseph Mohr did everything he could to fix the organ. He was unable to fix it. Word spread that although church would be held, it would be held without music. In Austria in the early 1800s, music was the entertainment. When he woke up just 2 days before Christmas, he had been asked to work on the sermon. It was a big deal. He was an assistant, and after all, the Monsignor was trusting him to find the words. He decided to pore over his notes, and he found these beautiful passages about this woman that had had a child that he had given aid to. He had given her comfort and joy. Excited, he went to Franz Gruber's home. And their house was full of Christmas. After all, he had 6 children. The evergreen was spring ripe. It smelled like cinnamon and goose. He knocked on the door with excitement, and when Franz opened the door, he and his wife invited him in, offered the young priest bread, butter, wine. Why not start the celebration early? News had not yet spread about the organ, and he had explained, "We have no music. It will be a silent night unless we are able to turn this poem into beautiful music." 2 days before Christmas, Franz Gruber stayed up all night. He tried to find the notes, the combination. On a guitar instead of an organ for a church. Guitar was more of a junior instrument. Something you would just work things out on. Take on a picnic. Or string along with the children. Instead, Franz Gruber needed to figure out how to make this accompanied instrument into the lead instrument with these beautiful lyrics that brought both him and his wife to tears. And then on Christmas Eve, 1888, Franz Gruber arrived and said, "I've got it. You sing the lyrics as you have written them, to the melody I've written, and I will play the guitar behind it, and it will be beautiful." They began to sing Silent Night. They sang it over and over again until all the townspeople knew the words. Stille Nacht was later translated to Silent Night. A few weeks later, the organ repairman came from Berlin. He fixed the organ and asked young Joseph Mohr to try out the organ, in which case he started to play this new song called Silent Night. This organ repairman was so impressed by the song. He wrote it down. He brought it to Berlin, and before they knew it, it was in songbooks all over Germany. It was renamed at one point The Voice of Heaven. It was errantly attributed to the composer Haydn's brother for a short time until Kaiser Wilhelm decided to find the true author and composer and honor them. And he did so in a nationwide search. One of Franz's sons stepped forward and said, "My father wrote that song on a very dark night in 1888. He was able to show the original written material. By then, Joseph Mohr had his own parish. He was in the south of Austria and all but forgotten until that moment of fame came in. Both men faded into obscurity. Aside from the people that they would help day to day, the impact that they would have, but their song changed the world, if even for one night. And I couldn't think of a more fitting song to dedicate to the people of Ukraine that have been war-torn. That are sitting by their Christmas tree via candle. That are literally waiting for this night to be over. This long, long night to be over. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy and so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Tiknani Sivyanis, Yahweh nabi vidzamin di matake previata takavazya movzaia spoki vetizi sni spakiti sni. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. My Ukrainian didn't give it much justice, but I hope my intention was felt. I say to you again, the people of Ukraine and the people of Russia, Mir na zemli, peace on earth. In the message of the season, in understanding what it means, wherever your belief brings you, to the birth of a child or the kindness to humans, can we stop fighting? Can we stop living our life in candlelight? Can we shine the brightest of light and the deepest of hope? Can we start being the inspiration for others of the connection that we feel to the stars, to the Creator, to our ancestors, to our earth? Darkness is part of life, but it doesn't need to be a way of life. And instead of borders, let us build boundaries. Let us live in our authentic self and recognize that becoming the man of the moment, the person of the moment, the ability of the moment, that our struggles present opportunity. I want to thank you all for listening in, and hope you like and subscribe, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. I'm going to give you the heart tap, and I'm going to keep this on a loop, so stay tuned and watch as many times as you'd like. I'm going to give you the heart tap to each and every one of you to remind you to simply keep going. May God bless you in whatever way you feel connected.